All right, we'll get started. Savvy Trader here, and it's Friday the 23rd of January. All signals and trading opportunities provided, both orally, written, or electronically, that are disclosed to visitors or subscribers are for educational and demonstration purposes only. So now we get that out of the way, let's jump over to Thinkorswim. Take a look at the market sectors and see how they're doing. All right, let's see what's happening. Right now, we're printing 414 on the advanced decline line. You can see pretty much that it's been below the trend all morning. We're only into the first hour of trading, and it's Friday, typically a little bit slower pace. You can see that XLK is leading, so you can see that tech, probably Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia are probably up for the day. We'll check that out in a few minutes. XLU Utilities is down 0.7, which really doesn't have much of a drag. XLU, XLRE are the two most insignificant sectors out of the 11. Got 6 and 5 on the sectors, and we're just slightly bullish. You can see with the cumulative ticks, we're down this morning. And look at the pace of the ticks above. You can see that we've been printing below, with the triangles below the 0 line more frequently than above. And finally, we look at our volume, and we're in positive territory, but just a fraction. The SPY is up. It's got a positive signal. It's above the trend line. We got a yellow to blue Laguerre right here. And then we start getting our up move, starting to challenge the previous day close. Here's the open and the previous day low. So we're up in that upper range. If we look at the QQQs, you can see that the QQQs are above the trend too, pretty much on pace with the SPY. SPY's up 0.2, the Q's 0.6, and IWM is down 0.6. So you see a inverse relationship between SPY, Q, and IWM for the past few days. IBM's been the mover to the green side, and SPY and Q have been lagging. But today we see a little difference there. Any trades that we have on have a Newmont NEM. This one is XLB in the mining sector. You can see that it's consolidating here on a 2-minute chart, and pretty much everything is lined up to be bullish except 45 and 1 hour and the 1 minute, but the 1 minute will flip pretty soon and become bullish. See if it can hold that, and we can continue building on the bullishness in this stock. Take a look at it on a daily basis here real quick. See if there's any significant levels that we might want to be concerned with. And there we go. So if we were looking for a pullback in Newmont, we would be looking at 121.45, which is the high of the candle 2 days ago. So, we get the move up, get the retest, need to make sure that holds, and then we continue to a breakout to a new high. That's what I would expect in Newmont. This has been super strong. I know that we've had a lot of gaps here. Here we go. We take a look at the gaps that aren't filled. You can see some of these gaps were filled. This gap was filled here. This gap is still open, and this gap is still open. Let's start off with some indexes, and we'll look at the SPY. Let's start on the daily chart with these. All right. You can see we had a lot of volume going to the downside a few days ago. Now we're starting to recover. We're trading right inside a range right here, trying to break out above the previous day uh, open. And I'm not sure if we're going to make it up to the previous day high or not, but we'll keep an eye on that. It's up 0.8 overnight, and it's up zero point 0.2 from the open. QQQs, little engulfing signal right here, which is beneficial to the stock. Um, these stocks, everything that I'm looking at, these things are basically moving to the upside. Got big trend lines here. Also, if we get a move back, same thing. Second verse, same as the first. You can see a break above the previous high right there and see if we can get a breakout. If we need a retest, if not, I can expect this just to keep on going up. IWM, which was the strongest, look at the formation from yesterday. You can see this is a shooting star. This is a shooting star pattern right here. Keep an eye on that. If you're not sure exactly what the shooting star pattern is, the shooting star pattern is basically a pattern where when you look at the candlestick, it looks like basically inverted, very little body, long tail above body. Sellers stepped in and they brought the price from the high all the way back near the open. And you can see right here that this is a signal that the bears were taking control of it. Now I got a little bit of a move down today, but we're inside this previous large volume candle. So at this point, we're looking to see if we can get a little bounce, how far that bounce goes. Do we go back down here and we test this area? I'm not sure. It's hard to say. Where the close is today will give me a lot more information. If we close below this 267.79, my expectations are we'll go and revisit 264.64 and we'll see if that's going to offer any kind of support for IWM. So once again, I'll jump back over on SPY. We can see the SPY right here, trying to make a new high. Got to move up quite a bit to get up to that new high. Maybe a pullback and then a breakout to a new high. We could also look and see if this is going to move down to maybe a 265 area. If we get a move up and then a pullback down into this area, and then maybe we'll get a retest again and see if we can move higher from there. QQQs, look, they're in a little better shape, almost an engulfing signal here. My expectations are if we do come back, we'll test this 620 level first, and then we'll try to break out to a new high from here. That would be my thoughts on QQQ IWM. IWM's been the weakest. Keep an eye on the formation. This is like I said, a shooting star. Now it's moved down here. Expectations would be maybe 264.64 test, and then a move back up to retest 267.79. If we get any volume that comes in here, we can expect that maybe we'll get another breakout, retest, and we'll get a new high here on IWM. See what we have going on for any of the ETFs. Start at the biggest winners of the day. So I'd be very trepidatious about taking any energy stocks as we start getting these shooting star formations. Sure, it's early in the day. This formation could end up looking like this, at the end of the day. And It's like, okay, well then we'll just repeat the process and we'll form another one the next day, and we'll just keep on driving to the upside, you know. But my mindset right now is that we come back and revisit that $49 level. See if we can get a bounce. If we can't get a bounce and get a higher high, we'll go to 48.75 or maybe even down to 48.29. If we want to look at the moving averages, that's also right at the 8 EMA. You can see the structures built very well. 200 stacked above the 100, above the 50, above the 21 and the 8. So this is, this is not something that I believe is going to fall apart. Just to come back to the 8 EMA would just be basically coming back to really just short-term, um, reversion to not even the mean, just the 8. If it was to revert all the way back to the mean, look, this would be a move all the way back down to the 21 EMA, and that's 46.97. So I don't have that in my mind yet. It's one step at a time. The 8 comes first, then the 21. If that breaks the 50, if that breaks the 100, and then I'll start looking at any kind of supply and demand areas that we have. I have some monthly supply and monthly demands areas right here. Make sure I got my clouds turned on. There we go. So basically, we got up here into supply area. And we broke above it. Let's see what we do with these supply and demand areas as we come back. And especially if you start to layer demand areas. If you're not sure what demand areas are, you can Google it. It's basically where demand is where institutions will look at buying, and supplies where institutions will look at selling. You get a big gap up above these areas within these supply zones. These levels should turn into resistance and give you an opportunity to move up. When you stack them above other, like EMAs right there, that gives you even more detail. Same thing if you start adding, some of your high volume candle levels back in, where they kind of coincide with these supply and demand areas also. Keep the MAs and the and high volume candles. That's XLE overextended in my mind. Now we're over here on the ETF XLK. XLK's got a little hammer going right now. Hammer candle. I like that. High volume support 144.10. Any of the moving averages, the daily 21, 144.93, and also the 8 EMA. So it's got quite a bit of support under price right now, supporting by the 50, the 21, and the 8. Pretty soon the 8 will be above the 21. We'll look all good on it, but it's starting to firm up. It's been somewhat weak here for a while, but it's starting to gain some ground now. XLP, not much to say. This is what we talk about every day. Whenever you get these big patterns right here, they happen on any time frame. This is a big flag pattern. When you look at a flag pattern, then the first thing you would say is where price is, can bounce, go crossed, break out. So anywhere in here, you can get a pullback to the lower part of the range, a breakout of the higher part of the range, and continuation. Most conservatives wait for the break, wait for the first pullback or retest, and then make a new high. This is the preferred one, is when you wait for this. Of course, if you get a reversal signal down, and this is a daily chart, if you get a reversal signal down here, and that's also combined with any kind of moving averages, like here's the 8 EMA, so I definitely would look at being a buyer of something and giving it a shot. If it's got a strong, if it's, this is XLP, this would give me conviction to start looking at some of the XLP stocks that I've been waiting to get into consolidation so I can trade these. XLC Communications, price above the 21, above the 50, the 100. The 8 is stacked behind the 50 right here. Got to keep an eye on these candles, these high volume candles. $116.89 would be the first level that I would look to see if I could break through. So price is here, trying to get here. If it can break through there, then I expect it to go here. And then I just expect price just to continue going higher, if we can make it. So first we had to make it past 116.89, and then we're going to find support at the daily 21. Also, we're looking at 116.46. So if it fails this zone right here, then I would think it would go back down to the 50. And this move is really, you got a high, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then a failure, reset the trend, downtrend, gap up above these lows, and a gap up to form a double bottom, or it filled the gap here, and now we're in a bullish mode trying to move higher. XOY, you can see pretty much the same. We had some gap down, recovery, gap up, move higher, hammer candle, looking at some highs. Not sure if we can find any resistance. So you can see 122.92 is an area of this body of resistance from a high volume candle, and again at 124.41, 124.56, this high of this candle. So that's where I would look for this price to move to. If it can stay above here, then my expectations are that it's going to test the upper levels, and then we'll continue going higher. If we do, in fact, not make it up higher, and then I would expect that we could slip right down to the 8 EMA. And look, any pullback to the 8 EMA, anything, is not a reversion to the mean, and it's going to fall apart. All it's saying is it's time for this to take a rest from being extended from the 8, come down, consolidate. The 8 will trend sideways, it'll move up. The 8 will start trending with it, and it's going to carry the 21 too with it. And this is really nice symmetry here. Again, 200, 150, 21, and 8. Basic materials break out to new high above the 8 EMA. Here we are stacked again, 8, 21, 50, 100, 200. You could say it might be a little extended from its high. We'll see if we can see anything in these high volume candles. So you can see this last high volume candle right here, that 49.38, should hold that price level right there and hold above the 8 EMA. . . . XLI, same story, supported by the 8 EMI. Look at a move back up to 166.36, 167.01. Try to get a breakout above this level. So this is moved back. Need to see if we can get a bounce here, and then maybe a breakout. That's what we'd like to see. A new breakout and XLI, the industrials. XLRE, not a big deal. Pull back to the 21 and 50, but you can see the 200, 108, they're inverted. So it's pretty much a mess. You can see the daily chart. The stack moving averages really clarify which ones are strong. Here we go again, utilities, and you can see with utilities that it's here's the 100, the 50, the 21 and 8. These are inverted. This thing is moving down. Any bounce that comes back up to the 8 EMA on utilities, and really the stocks that comprise utilities, it's hard to find. There's a few that have some higher betas that are better to trade. See, if it moved back up to the 8 EMA would just be an opportunity for me to short it and see if we can get a bounce at the 200, or I would take the failure there. So I wouldn't be a buyer here, but if I could get a reversal up in this range here where some of this resistance is, then I'd be happy to try to take it down into the 200, because right now when you look at it, I mean, you're only looking at this right here. This is your move, pretty much to get you down to the 200. And there's not enough meat, as they say, meat on the bone for me to get involved in that. Got a nice move up, pull back, look like probably to the 50% level. Chopped up here, consolidated, hammer candle, strong bullish candle up, pulled back to this level again, launched up, and now it's failing. So I'd like to see it hold the 8 EMA. This would be nice. You got 8, 21, 50, 100, 200. The structure's good on XLV. Some of these stocks are starting to, like Lilly, are starting to really move. So maybe we can get, a move. Let's see. Maybe we can get a move like this back up. Hold the 8 EMA back up to 158.26. I always look at the ETFs to give me signals on what to get involved in. And I don't look at there's no single day move that's going to change my opinion on most ETFs, on most any day. Just a matter of waiting for price to get to where you want to be a buyer, then you want to buy it. So here's XLF. Where do I want to buy something? Like to buy it if it got down to the 200. That's where I like to be a buyer and see a bounce from there. And then I'd be taking profit here. That would be my game. I make my money. And then if it broke above the 100, do I have enough room to make money on this? If I got a move like this, is there enough movement? 53, 57, 53.91. There's not enough room to make money in between using options for me. It's just not. I can make 30 cents on that. I mean, if I paid 60 cents for it, 70 cents for it, and I can make 30, okay, but you're talking about out of the money options and just very short term. But this has to recover. If we get the 8 EMA to get back above the 21, well, then you're starting to get your stacked EMAs coming back into play. It's the short term 8 that's really broke this structure. So once the 8 EMA moves above the 21, so once we get this one to move up and get up into this area right here, well, then the structure becomes very much more balanced. This is where we could actually start looking at trading this. So that's all the ETFs right now. Let's see if anything's moving right now in the market. Let me get my scanner going. Sorry, my dogs were barking. All right, so we're on the 2-minute chart. This is the SPY. You can see the SPY has pretty much recovered today. Got down into these lows, down 687.40-ish area. That was the pre-market low. Tested the pre-market low. Then it started to move up. The previous day close challenged it, pulled back, went up into this monthly supply zone right here. So these levels are already calculated even before the open. And then we continue to break above previous day close, the monthly supply zone, the previous day open, and the pre-market high. Now we're challenging the pre-market high and daily supply area at 690. If you look at our fib range, we're at 92.5, almost the high of the day. 50 cents away. And still early in the day, it's only 10 o'clock. So the SPY's looking pretty good, printing some nice green candles. Green candles represent the Laguerre. Here's your setup for your Laguerre. Moving average crossover. Once you get the moving average crossover, you get a yellow candle, yellow Laguerre, turning blue. This is the VWAP. Once you get that break, that previous day close, you can see that it was rejected here. Once you get this break up here, still close to the 8 and the 13, take that move up. First target, pre-market high, consolidates. Volume comes in. Yellow, red Laguerre turns blue. Take the volume candle up, and you're still riding this. So, I mean, you had a couple opportunities. Here's your first opportunity, and then you're out. Your second opportunity, and then you go. This could have been partials off at this area, and then ride it back up. And every time price makes a swing low, take your levels and place them on your chart, and these become your next targets. And then you just take these targets and you continue to move these up. If price consolidates up in this area again, and you can just move your target back up. And you just keep doing that until the trade's over. And then I keep looking at my next level. Next level is where I would peel off more, or my expectations of rejection would be there. IWM was weak. It's still down today. You can see how much strength we had yesterday and the day before. Then all of a sudden, we get this pullback. These are natural pullbacks. Go through my big bull list. Silver's right here, one of my favorites. Hasn't really done a whole lot today. Microsoft non-stop. Look at this right here. Volume came in. And look at the continued volume spikes that are coming. All these dots, volumes coming in. Above average volume. And you don't see any change in the Laguerre. This thing has hammered it out. 1, 2, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 45, 1 and 2. I mean, what else could you add? Are you going to short this now? Are you going to wait for it to get up here and look for a short? No. Any consolidation area, anything that consolidates on this, you get a little consolidation area. Well, then take the consolidation area, then move it up. And then once it goes to that price level, keep moving it up. And a close below these areas, well then, stop yourself out. AMD down to the 62.8, so it's kind of like the line in the sand for me. When it gets, more than half on a pullback, then if I'm not in it, I will watch it. And then I would want a move to come up above, a retest of VWAP, and then a move up. I would buy the cross of VWAP or the first candle that reversed once it touched VWAP. GILD's been a good mover today. Had a pretty decent pullback. This would shake out a lot of people. You can see these volume candles came in, which it's normal for the open, but you see we had continued buying up into here, and then the pullback volume, the pullback volume was very low, and then buyers stepped in, price recovered the VWAP, moved up to this high, pulled back, moved up to the high, pulled back, and now it broke it. It took more than one attempt before it could clear that. So GLD looks pretty good. And your RSI is pretty much 100%. 1 minute yellow doesn't mean anything. You're on a 2-minute chart. 2 all the way to 1 hour. Pay a lot of attention to the hourly and the 15. These are like the gears. These are easy to turn. And as these gears turn, they make changes in the higher time frame. But when all your time frames, and this is basically for day trading for me, you got 6.5 bars on the hourly, you got 3.25 bars on the 2 hour. So it takes a lot for these to change. Palantir, daily high up 2.6%, 11.3 million shares traded. Kind of a choppy open, pullback. Got a little volume right here. Little volume coming off the cross of the VWAP and a break above the moving averages. Then the 813 crossed on the next candle and came in with a lot of volume, and away we went. Still bringing volume in. Next target, 8 EMA, 171.04. Take a look at Amazon. Push up in the morning, pull back. XLK's been strong. XLY's doing good. XLP's doing good. This is almost at the high of the day right here. Green Laguerre to yellow Laguerre turns blue. Once we get a blue Laguerre, got volume coming in. A little divergence between price moving down. The indicator is still moving up. Immediately turns green, and off we go. We get 1, 2 yellow candles in here, but we don't get a close and a break of the 13. and we get more volume coming in and continue to move higher. Spotify looks like at 50%, 45, 47.2. You look at enough charts, you kind of get an idea of, hey man, do I want to be buying? Well, you were in the hole here. These bounces right here are basically more opportunistic to short down below. Meta been a strong stock today. And you're going to see a reoccurring theme here quite often. Green, yellow, red, blue, VWAP, 813 cross, move up, previous day high, right? This was a demand zone. Can't read that. That was a demand zone right there. Little pullback. Do we have anything in our way? I don't see anything in our way. We can a clear sail to the upside. $50, 21.50 and 8 EMA. 8 EMA needs to catch up. But Meta looks pretty good today. APP, pretty strong move for APP off the bottom right here. Trading at 528. 528. Got above the pre-market high. It's previous day high, previous day open. You can see that we're way up here, and this is the daily demand zone. If we do make it up here, this would be an area you could possibly short, but are you going to want to short something that's been moving up this much today? It's at the 86 fib level, which is very bullish for that stock. MU's pulling back right now. It's at the 60% fib level, coming right back down into VWAP. Don't really have any support until we get past VWAP. VWAP would be your first target. Nvidia looks like a choppy mess. Wouldn't touch it. Trading just right into VWAP and then failing. Starbucks. Haven't been impressed with Starbucks. I mean, on the daily chart, it hasn't looked that great today. It looks okay. I really like MSTR better. And if you're not sure why, look at the difference in the two charts. You know, just look at this pattern right here. Consolidation pattern, breakout, pullback, new high. Newmont, we talked about that earlier. TSLL. This is the ETF for Tesla. It's pulling back, went up to the pre-market high. Coming right back down to the previous day close, previous day high. You can see how these levels are continuously tested. Gold still moving up. Crowd's pulling back a little bit. The 8 EMAs right here. A lot of chop in between this area. PDD breaking 813 on a little bit of volume. Next stop could be down here around VWAP or the pre-market low. Costco's been pretty strong lately. This is a big flag right here. We talk about flags all the time. You got a flag here. Flag here. turns into a flag here, into a flag here. So I mean, you can see the pattern. Flagpole, move up, pull back, consolidation, pull back, breakout, moving up strong, consolidation, and next move should be up. I already went over the cues. Here's Tesla. Tesla's looking for previous day high, previous day close, previous day support. Here's the VWAP down here. It's in the upper range. This is still an opportunity to buy. If you were looking at buying Tesla, so this is a little script. I'm kind of a cheat sheet, a visual cheat sheet for me. So this just tells me the fib levels. Whenever we get back down to the 618 level, then I expect that we bounce. And then if we do bounce, I expect to get up to the 88 level. And then if we break out, that area should be support now, and it should give us an opportunity to go to 100% high of the day, which it did. It made the high of the day. It got up there, but it's failed at this point. But when I'm intraday trading and stuff, I'll look at these fib levels once I get a feel for how the move is starting to happen, and I'm getting that move up. It gives me an idea of where it would be reasonable for me to get back into a trade and trade this. PANW compressing right above the previous day high, right in the middle of the fib level, just below 50%. Chop, nothing. Apple, almost high a day, looks like about 90%, 91. Previous day open, you can see it tested the previous day open and it broke through and then pulled back into the pre-market high. It's consolidating. Expectations would be for this this big flag to continue moving up. Look at the stack candles moving up, consolidate, and then move higher. Google, choppy mess today. Visa, 88.8. Not a whole lot to see here. I mean, it's pretty choppy price action. Did move up a little bit. SPY didn't take out the previous day high. Vertex VRTX. Interesting place right here for Vertex. I say that probably need to VRTX. We'll look at the daily chart and just see what the biotechs. These don't follow the market. They run on their own. You can see this big pullback. I don't know what the news was. Had this big pullback, hammer bottom, broke the 200, almost tested the 100, the 50, the 21, and the 8. You can see that we had a strong move up, and then now it's just making fractional highs, but it still looks good to me. I would be interested in trading it for sure. I can get a pullback to the 8, boop, right to the 8, and then a breakout, and then I'd be interested in taking it long. AMGN, flat as pancake, LRCX, a pretty good pullback right to the 50% level. RBLX is pretty choppy. IWM we've seen already, and then Marriott Marriott is not moving at all. All right, let's take a look at Thinkorswim real quick. All right, sorry about that. We were talking about the market internals, and you can see with the market internals that we're just now starting to turn up on the internals. We're starting to get bullish on it. XLK is still leading. XLF is now pulling back. Cumulative ticks are still negative, and we're printing more above the zero line right here as far as ticks go, which is a plus. Will we see positive ticks today, cumulative? I don't know. Look at the flatness of the volume right here. There's nothing here. The Qs have just put in a bullish move and they're just grind. This is a slow grind and a slow grind with the VIX moving down. I'm just looking for some high volume candles. Just getting it set up again. There we go. All right, so this is VRTX. I was looking to see if there's any support. There is a support on a high volume candle from right here. This was 159% volume at the low. See if any of my option scalps, Rocket Lab, that's been very strong. You can see this move up, consolidating right at the 8 EMA. Spotify moving in the hole, very weak. Trying to get back up to the 8 EMA, that would be an area that I'd be interested in taking a short on it. I did take a trade in AMX. AMX is AXP, American Express. What I was looking for American Express is for it to get back down to 355.50. It broke the 8, the 50, and the 21. And now, as long as it stays below 362.41, I'll stay in the trade. And my target's going to be down here around 350, 356 or so. Step right in front of that 355 level. Well, so far it's kind of a choppy day. You know, what do you expect? Today's you got expiration today, so there's a few stocks moving up. I'm very selective. I'm not really looking to put too much on. Spend the last few minutes to see if I can scan for anything that might be a potential candidate for longer term. XLC is getting pretty good, crossing the 21 right now. All the major moving averages are below price. When I see that, I go to my XLC chart and I'll start looking at candidates that I might want to trade. I like Meta if it would get above the 200 SMA. And Google has the best looking chart of all of the top 10 in XLC. Continue to look for something. XLI's been pretty strong. Industrials. CSX. Big hammer candle today. But it's got a lot of resistance at the high of where it's at. Amazon. Interesting. Next earnings 2.5. Don't know what the this is what I consider a PBO, pullback opportunity. So if I go into Amazon and I look and see what the implied volatility would be for next week, it's really not very high. Earnings is on 2.5. You'd have to go February 6th. That way you can retain more of the premium. It's a $20 move. 240, 50, 60s. $245, 255s. If you did 245, 55, 65s, they're probably going for about $1.50 right now. I do like Amazon as a PBO. I'm going to see if there's anything else. CSIQ. Do not like the Solars. They're very gappy. Really don't see a whole lot. Nvidia's finally recaptured the major moving averages after that pullback in the past couple days. Silver continues to move up. Tesla's trying to do something. AMD's breaking out. XLE's breaking out. Schlumberger. Well, I appreciate everybody coming today. Friday. Thank God it's Friday. We've had a few good trades this week. This is the first week we broadcasted in the Rightline Trading Room. Like I always say, if you're interested in any of their software, contact Roy. You can go to rightlinetrading.com and you can contact them and ask them any questions you might have. If you have questions for myself, leave them in the chat box, and I'll try to answer all of them as fast as I can. You guys have a good trading day and a better trading week for next week.
Putting up pretty nicely. Again, I paid 204 for those. They're at 217 right now for the 2450 calls for next week. Again, I get at 204. I haven't set a sell order on it yet. It's actually a pretty nice setup for a swing. 27.33 is the resistance, so about $1.60 up to the upside of this. I'm probably going to try to get like 50 or 60 cents on it, perhaps. I'm not sure if that'll be possible or not, but I'm going to set a sell order for 254. 254. It would take a pretty decent move to do that. Intel starting to move back down again. Not big volume though. It's UUU. Pretty nice little move in UUU. Or UUUUU. Too many U's there. Abbott week today. Thank you, Roger. Abbott. Yeah, it's got a couple of support levels on it right now. Right here. Abbott, you can see how it went down to this support level. It's got 2 or 3 of them wedged in here right now, high volume supports. Sarang, you took some of that UUUU with UUUU. Very funny. Do I get it? Yes, of course I get it. What's your next high volume on it? 2733. 2733. APLD is getting some volume. Thank you, Roger. Yeah, I looked at that earlier. We mentioned it. It came up on the scanner over here. Looks pretty good. It's kind of bouncing off the 8 and the 15 here. Kind of a similar look to ASTS the other day. Not as dramatic, but it does tend to bounce off that 8 and 15 with the resistance up about 39.89. That's a pretty nice looking stock on there for a trade right now. Market internals bending lower, not really coming down too hard. APLD does have resistance at the high. 39.51, about $2. You just kind of churning along. QCLS, rising hard and fast. QCLS, thank you, Ari. Could be a Momo. Yeah, 37% today. Fairly large volume. QCLS. Yeah, it's definitely a high. It's definitely a low float, high volume, a Momo stock. It's only got 141,000 float. 141,000. It's traded 6.7 million. QCLS. Again, you got to be very cautious in these high volume stocks like this. These low float stocks, they can reverse on a dime, head right back down again. But it's a pretty nice move here in QCLS. Next resistance on it, 657. 657. There's also some at 616. Yeah, it can always keep going, Ari. I mean, it's very strong. Got a lot of volume behind this thing. Um, it's got some decent room to the next resistance level. And again, you got to be quick on these things because they can turn around on you pretty quickly. But that's a nice setup right now for a Momo stock. Trading at 572. Again, about 616 is the next resistance level I see on it. And then about 654 after that. There's a few of them in here. Hey George, good morning. UMCAT alerts only in the live chat or also text alerts? No text alerts on those. They're way too quick, George. I can't even post them in the room. All I can do is let you know if I see a setup. These are stocks like the SPY Super System that you basically have to learn the strategy and manage them yourselves because they're much too quick, most of them. I took a Gilead this morning, but I only got 10% out of that and get out. So, but nope, there's not going to be they'll be in the room when you're in the room and you'll hear me talk about them. And if I see a setup, I'll take it. But not gonna. I won't be posting them or anything like that. They're too fast. The time I write down what's going on, I could be out of the trade. QCLS still going here up to 586. Intel moving down here. UUU with a little bit of a pullback. Right to the 8. Pretty good volume too for that one. INTC still coming in. Gilead sideways. NBO still coming down. The QCLS, that Momo stock that Ari was talking about, pretty nice one here this morning. Back up over 6 now, still going. QCLS still getting a lot of volume. You can see the volume candles, a lot of white volume candles in here. But against the Momo, there's no options. You got to trade stock on it. Just be very careful. This thing can rip up, but they can reverse very quickly. Again, it's a low float, high volume stock. It's basically getting a short squeeze here, probably. At least that's part of it. Huge amounts of volume coming in on this thing this morning. It's traded so far 9.6 million shares. That's over twice what it does in a whole day normally. So again, it's definitely a Momo stock. SPY pulling down here. Watch, we're gonna see what UUUU does here when the market pulls down. I want to see if it can hold some relative strength. Market internals coming down. This hasn't switched back to it. It's definitely coming down right at the moment. You coming in with the market here. Again, just watching 24.92 on UUUU. That is the breakout level, 24.92. QCLS starting to pull back a little bit. And be very cautious with these kind of stocks. Big volume, going up and down. Hey, Maxim, Riot bouncing off the 100. Thank you. One of the cryptos. Yep, bouncing right off the 100-day. Very nice look on that one. Riot right there. Whoops. Right there. I can get over here. Coming right back down. Bounce off the 100. Right off the 15 this morning. Up through the 100. Up through the 8 again. Nice little PBO here on Riot. Mara. Doesn't look as good. IBIT looks pretty good this morning. Moving up. But again, a lot of resistance on the just above on these crypto stocks. Again, there's that QCLS. Everybody's playing this Momo. See, it's pulled back. Right there. And again, I'm going to watch UUUU, see if we get a little bounce in it. Hey, Frank, hey, what was the UUU trade I did? I bought next week's, let me look at it. I can't remember off of the top of my head. I bought next week's 24.50 calls, and I paid 204. 204, they're at 195 right now. Next week's 24.50 calls, in the money calls I took. UUU with putting a little hammer in here. You can see what the SPY does. It's getting weaker, but putting in a hammer right off the VWAP, right off the VWAP. QCLS just drifting around now a little bit. High volume candle though. Again, this is on during when the candle's constructed like this. If it's below the close of the previous candle, it'll be yellow. As soon as it gets above the close of the previous candle, it'll go back to white. Just depends on where it is relative to the price. This tells you that you've got a lot of volume right now, and we've had it for quite a few candles. Again, UUUU also had a couple of big down volume candles, but it's trying to bounce again. It's putting in a hammer just like the SPY is. SPY with a little hammer. It hasn't got back up through the 8 there. Notice the 8's just the 15's right here. It's just 8 just crossed below the 15. It's a bearish cross, but again, we're still above the VWAP. UUU just chopping sideways now. Intel is still coming in. Hey George, thank you. You saw the OMCAT video. Yeah, I mean, any kind of trades like that, if you've seen my SPY Super System video as well, these are excellent setups. The strategy is very strong. They have excellent risk reward. They actually excellent results over time, win rates and profit factor. But you know, you've got to learn the strategy and apply it, and you need to have the SPY Super System as well to really do it effectively, because you really need to know what's going on here with the current time frame momentum level right there. SPY just kind of meandering now. And again, I'm in UUUU for U's. I'm long for next week's calls, 2450s. A little bounce here off of right close to the VWAP. Again, UUUU. Whoops. Trying to also put in a couple of hammer bars here, trying to bounce. Intel still a decent, looks like a decent short to me. Not a lot of big volume, but a decent short. QCLS pulling back pretty hard. Again, this is the danger with these Momo stocks. They get to a certain level and profit taking comes in, APLD, Ari, moving up pretty strongly. Yeah, very nice, nice move up to the APLD and a nice volume. See, it's got unusual option activity as well. Yeah, it's got some pretty big volumes in here, but there's a huge amount of volumes in this thing. Um, I haven't got anything marked here in my Tradio Pro as unusual, but there's a lot of huge amounts of volume in this thing today on options that are going off really. The 337s, 11,000 contracts. The 3750s, 8,000 contracts. The 38s, 7,600 contracts. 37 was called out earlier. Yeah, that's to get to 11,379. Got open interest of about 4,700. A lot of volumes, a lot of options on this thing. Huge amounts of options going through on this. Still pushing up too. 38 calls on APLD. Those are just slightly in the money. 55 by 60. The 3750 is in the money by about 70 cents. They're 86 by 94. Very heavy option plays on this though. I do have a resistance level on this now. Right here, I have an algo line. It comes down for here, right there, and I think there's a high volume line right there as well. And that likely would be a high volume line right there. It's just very close to resistance on this stock, so I'm gonna pass on it. UUU starting to pop up a little bit. And Intel just moving sideways here. About 12:13 here. Quarter past 12. Yeah, the SPY up this morning here, but only 0.16%. This is not a big move in the market. Again, I got to sell water on my triple U for quadruple U's at 254. I get in at 204. They're at 218 right now. QCLS pulling back, almost right to the VWAP. Bounced right off the VWAP. Volume continues high on this thing. APLD still moving up. Fairly nice setup on that thing. I wish it wasn't so close to resistance. It's got about $1 to the upside on it. Yeah, you're welcome, Frank. You. Spy just chopping around here. You's just moving sideways, but holding up pretty well. Intel trying to continue down. Envio, which was really strong this morning, just not doing anything now. And Gilead, which I did take 10% on today, trying to bounce back up again. And if you're trading with QCLS Momo stock, it's getting ready to start to bounce again. Irene also having a strong day, Ari. Irene. Yep, 58.75 resistance in Irene. It is, here it is right here. Again, it's been pretty much all over the place. You can see the resistance right up here. And putting in a nice candlestick today. Just kind of drifting now. Intel drifting down. APLD trying to push up. High volume candles here in APLD. Okay, I'm going to see if I can see any additional stocks here. There's Irene right there that Ari just pointed out. Mosaic, pretty nice move in Mosaic. There's Barrick Gold. Gold pretty strong today. And BP not doing well here. It's bouncing, but it's down pretty hard. CCL moving up in high volume. Right up to the 100-day moving average. Terrible daily chart right now. It's coming off a big low. There's BBAI with a jump. Big Bear AI right against resistance. Shai pointing out that silver is still going, gold trying to get through the high of the day, and copper as well. Yeah, the precious metals are up nicely today. Again, I took my silver off this morning on that gap up. It was expiring today. I had to really take it off. And I made really good money on that thing. This BBAI with a nice push up here, getting very close to resistance now. Microsoft had a very strong day today. This morning, it's just kind of pacing sideways now. Again, I did take oops, for next week's expiration on the 2450s. Still looking at Intel's trying to come down. Netflix trying to bounce here today. GE pretty weak. Again, APLD very strong today. Rocket Lab, nice move, Tristan. Rocket Lab. Yeah, it's a nice setup on Rocket Lab. We talked about this one yesterday. It was doing a PBO pullback opportunity right to the 15, and today it's above the 8. Very similar to when we took the ASTS on this pullback here. We took it on this big red candle as it bounced above the 8. Get this nice move yesterday. Rocket Lab. Looking back over the history of Rocket Lab, it kind of does the same thing. You see the pullback here and then the bounce back to the 15 and then a bounce off of that, back to the 15 right here and a bounce off of that. So very, very interesting setup right here, and one I would be very interested in taking some long calls in for next week, perhaps even the week after. But I would look to actually get out of it fairly quickly. I like it though. Nice setup in Rocket Lab. Very nice. Nice look on that one. Hey Ian, I mind giving the details of my silver trade, entry, exit, profit, drawdown. How long did I hold it? Yeah, I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't even remember when I get into it. I remember I was underwater here for most of the time with an expiration today. It got up to about break even yesterday and decided to hold it overnight because silver's been gapping and it gapped up this morning and I took it. I'd have to go back and reconstruct it. I don't remember in my head where, well, where my entry and exit was. I'd have to go back and look at the when I import my trades to tell you exactly what it was. How much profit I made on it. I got in for $3.35. I got out for $5.50. So $2.15 on a 335 entry. That's quite a bit. It's a high percentage gain, but I don't know. The drawdown was quite a bit because it was down to under $2, down to about $1.30, $1.40. But I don't remember off the top of my head. I can't reconstruct it that quickly. More than 50% profit. Yes, it was more than a 50% profit. It was yeah, in at 335, out at 550 this morning. I think, let me check that. I think it was 550 it took this morning on that. Silver, yeah, 550. So 335 to 550, $2.15 divided by 335. So 64%. Silver's been a big mover. I like this Rocket Lab, by the way. I'm going to look at some possible calls on Rocket Lab. Silver kept going, by the way. It's up to 692 right now, but I had to take it off on that gap up this morning. Gap up, a gift that was expiring today. I didn't really have what I felt like was the ability to try to watch it all day long on expiration day. I'm in UUUU, getting in at 204. Next week's 2450 calls expiring next week. I paid 204. They're at 218 right now. And I'm going to look at this Rocket Lab. I want to look at the options on it. Pretty wide spreads on them. I'm going to try to wait to see if I can get a little bit of a pullback in Rocket Lab before I enter. I'm probably going to take the $90 calls for expiring on February 6th. 2 weeks. They're 845 by 890 with about $4 of intrinsic value in them. MSTR, MSTU, having a good day, Ari. Thank you very much. Yep, coming off of lows. Just a brutal stock to try to trade. I mean, really brutal to try to trade this stock. Uh, Intradays are fine. Trying to trade this as any kind of a swing type trade is a nightmare. I mean, you can see what this thing has done. It's been coming down pretty hard with related to Bitcoin, but you know, this kind of stuff is, when you look at a chart like that, it's really hard to trade. Um, it's in a bearish downtrend, but it says these big gaps. I just can't. I have a hard time trading that. You're just doing straddles. Yeah, straddles are a good strategy on something like that. Looking at Rocket Lab here, I'm going to probably try to pick off a entry here in a minute. I got a buy order on it at $90 call, expiring February 6th, for Rocket Lab. I'm going to post this. I haven't got filled on it yet. I got an order in pending. These will be the October 6th, February 6th. And they're going to be the $90 calls. Well, I'm trying to get them for $8.73, but they're trading at $8.85 right now. I'm going to put here $8.80. Try to get filled for $8.80. It's going to take a little bit of a pullback. Get $8.75. Okay, good. Very nice. All right. Yeah, I got in for $8.75 also. I'm just going to leave it out there as an $8.80 because I've got to set an alert out on this, and again, the thing is pretty aggressive right now. So. I'm trying to get the alert sent out. I'm having some trouble with the alert system. I changed the alert to 860, by the way, when I sent it out because I couldn't get out quickly, so I moved it to 860. I'm going to leave it in there at 880. Rocket Lab trying to bounce here. Again, I'm still in U. Okay, Ian, my drawdown in the silver was about 30%. I paid 335. Yeah, it was down. I don't know what the low was on it. It was, again, it was one I was going to let it try to run because it was so volatile. But yeah, probably 30-40% down onto the downside, I guess. Microsoft continuing up, Frank. Thank you. MSTR also moving up. Microsoft, yeah, grinding up beautifully here right now. APLD starting to move up again. And you just kind of moving sideways. Intel still drifting down. Market internals were coming down hard. Now they're moving back up again. Bitcoin continuing, Ari. Thank you very much. Shai pointing out Bitcoin through the 50 SMA. 870 on Rocket Lab. Dan, thank you very much. Interactive Brokers, IKBR, potential doji sandwich. Thank you, Maxim. IBKR. Yeah, it is a potential doji sandwich. The setup was yesterday. Potential doji sandwich today. A little extended. I would have liked to have seen, for a real doji sandwich, it should have already made up more than this on this size candle. Okay, so I took Rocket Labs and I took U today, both long. And again, the SPY right now is staying above the 8 and the 15, so the market's fairly bullish. You know, relatively speaking, the market's a mess. We know the market's a mess. It's just been, if we look at the daily chart on the SPY, this is what we're trying to trade off of. It's a mess. You know, big pull down on tariffs, move up. Big pull down, moves up. Another big huge gap down. More tariff talk, back up again. So this is very difficult trading for swing trading. But you know, I'm leaning on the 8 to 15 here, and the SPY is bounced off the 50-day moving average again. So see if we can move this thing back up to another new all-time high. We got some big earnings coming out next week. A lot of tech stocks coming out next week. Netflix reported it gapped down pretty hard, but it is trying to bounce up today. Trying to back up over 86 right now on Netflix. Ian, what's the UUUU trade? The details? Sure. The UUU trade is I've got this is the 30th of January, January 30th. Next week's 2450 calls. Next week's 2450 calls. I paid 204 for them. For next week's 2450 calls, paid 204. They're at 208 right now. They were up to about 220, and I got a sell order at 254. But those are the 2450 calls for next week on UUUU. It's pulling down right now, so you can actually get them cheap again. The daily chart on them looks pretty nice. This is a daily chart on UUUU. What we wanted, we're in what's called a void. Nice move up here off the 8 yesterday. We're in this void between 24.92 and 27.33. Want to see it hold 24.92 today. Okay, that's kind of where I want it to stay. But definitely is a nice uptrend in UUUU, and the trade on Rocket Labs again is this nice PBO. It's a nice pullback opportunity, and this does this quite often. Goes back to the 15 and bounces. Goes back to the 15 and bounces. That's what we're looking for on Rocket Lab. INTC just drifting. UUUU coming back a little bit, and Rocket Lab, yeah, right back to the 8 and the 15. Rocket Lab down to 820, 832. Spreads must have gone wide. 810 by 840. Okay. QCLS took another bounce. Big Momo stock here. But getting kind of choppy. Kind of lost the this movement at the end here. How's it going, Ruthie?
Oh, I can't complain.
What's happening up there?
Not too much. I was sitting on my ass the whole time.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
About 12:40. I'm going to take lunch here in about 5-10 minutes. I'm going to stop watching QCLS right here. It's kind of losing a lot of its momentum in characteristics, so I wouldn't be touching it here personally. There's a SPY coming in pretty hard here. This is a pretty big drop in the SPY. Lily coming down. That's a pretty big red candle on the SPY right there. And it's coming back down to the 15 EMA, what we're looking at here. It's gotten back below the 689.70, which was a resistance level that went through this morning. Pretty much got to yesterday's high, and now it's pulling back again just below there with a 15 right there. Very big candle there on the SPY, and there's a market internals coming in very hard. A lot of selling going on right here, right now. IWM also coming in. Intel just moving sideways. I assume our stocks are coming down with it, but not too badly. UUU holding up very, very nicely here. Rocket Lab holding up very nicely. When you get this market downturn like this is how you can judge the relative strength of the stocks that you're looking at or you're in. good relative strength as the market pulls in, the internals pull in. U holding up nicely. Rocket Lab holding up nicely. There's really a pretty heavy sell-off right there. Dan pulling out. Netflix is holding up. Yeah, Netflix is moving up right now on this. Very nice. Netflix strong. Pretty good flush there in the SPY.
Members on RONB, seeing a social media circulations on a Bloomberg analyst, ETF analyst, is kind of a big deal. RONB has added a ton of SpaceX to their new ETF, 22% of portfolio. XAI is another 5.5%. That's 27.5%.
Q's down below the VWAP here.
Quadruple the old high watermark for
Again, I'm
ETF
still watching the
revenue.
I have no intention of getting out of it. I have no intention of getting out of Rocket Lab at all, not right now.
B.
SPY. Not doing much here. Trying to bounce, but not doing much. Market internals are starting to flip up. UUU trading at 198. Again, I paid 204 for it. right, SPY still coming in. I'm going to grab some lunch here as we watch the market kind of come down pretty hard. Again, I'm still in 4Us, and I'm still in
On ASTI,
Rocket Lab.
seeing, some volume on his social media
Holding up pretty well.
regarding
Intel
ASTI
coming in here now
reviewing.
with the market. Microsoft was holding up pretty well, starting to roll over a little bit, and Netflix holding up really, really well. APLD, that other one we looked at earlier, pulling back, and NVO also pulling back really hard now. But basically, it's given up most of its gains. But Rocket Lab holding up decently here, and UUUU also holding up decently. So, all right, I'm going to grab some lunch. We'll go ahead and close down the YouTube feed. Thank you very much, folks over in YouTube. Appreciate it today. I hope you have a great weekend. Trade well this afternoon. We'll be back here on Monday about 11:30. And again, if you're interested in these my trading room, our alert service, or the SPY Super System software that we've got right here, we've got quite a few excellent. We've been up videos now on trading SPY Super System trades, as well as the UMCATS trades. But you need to be in the room for those to pretty much be. I can't post them. I can't really alert on them. So. But you can learn them and trade them very successfully here in the room. So again, go to rightlinetrading.com. You can get all the information you need, or you can call Rory at 786-732-4656. That'll get you into Rory, and you can ask him any questions you want, and he can set you up. All right, everybody, have a great weekend, and we'll see you back here on Monday.